and he found a scapegoat, someone to blame, in a peasant faith healer called Grigory Efimovich Rasputin. So who was this Rasputin? He's been immortalized since in countless B-movies as a power-hungry wizard who controlled the Tsarina with some magic or sexual spell. As history, it's mostly nonsense. But Yusupov came to believe it was Rasputin, no one else, who brought down the old order. It makes his story at least worth closer examination.
This peasant, this mujik, in his greasy boots, entering the palace, traipsing about on the imperial marble. With those greasy boots, he trampled on the people's ancient faith in the purity and justice of the Tsar.
The private tragedy of the Romanov family was the sickness of their only son, Alexis, with a disease of the blood. Doctors feared he'd never live to inherit the throne. Partly in desperation, partly because she too was superstitious, Alexandra had turned to Rasputin to help the boy. Known since as a mad monk, he was in fact neither. Just a wandering holy man with some unexplained skill that seemed to pull Alexis back from the brink. He'd become a frequent visitor to the royal nursery. But with Alexandra, he was on his best behavior. What others saw was his wilder side.
Listen to this. Rasputin came home drunk at 5 a.m. Maria Gilles, wife of a captain in the Hussars, slept over at Rasputin's. During the visit of the Pitolkov family, Rasputin took a prostitute on his knee and whispered in her ear.
Where did you get them?
The policeman on guard at his flat kept notes. He sold them on the black market. This man sidled up to me outside. He said these would tickle my palate. He said there are photographs too. Orgies. Aristocratic ladies involved.
He was turning them into a laughingstock, the Tsar and Tsarina. That they should let such an immoral man twist them round his finger. The Tsar was at the front. She'd sent him these messages, full of Rasputin's orders. People began to say, he rules Russia through her. There'd been some business of a letter she'd written talking of her love for him, for Rasputin. Quite innocent. But the letter was stolen. People said she's having an affair. Soldiers are dying in their thousands, and she's having an affair.
Rasputin's importance lies not in what he did, but in what people said he did. The affair with Alexandra was lies. Equally, it's debatable how great his influence really was. But ordinary Russians heard how he could make and unmake ministers. It seemed to explain the recent muddle. 5 interior ministers in just 10 months. 3 different ministers for war. People said, is this stupidity? Or is this treason? Yusupov resolved to stop the rot. He went to bribe or frighten Rasputin to leave the court. But it was no use.
He didn't need money. He gave away most of what he had, and he seemed immune to any threat. I'd arranged my meeting through an old friend, Marie Golovin, one of those ladies of the court now obsessed with this fake. I said to her, if you love him, you must urge him to leave. He is in danger. He is in danger. She said,
he has no reason to fear.
Someone will kill him, sooner or later.
No, God would not allow it.
Go into the other room. I want to talk to him alone.
As for Rasputin, he was even more sure of himself than she was. puffed up with this intolerable arrogance.
Sit. You shouldn't be afraid of me, you know. When you come to know me better, you'll see what kind of man I am. I can do anything. And if the Tsarina obeys me, well, surely you can. I'll be seeing her soon. I'll tell her you've been to see me. It'll please her. Maybe make you a minister. Would that amuse you?
You think you can? Make me a minister?
Oh, it's a simple thing. The Empress is very wise. With her, I can do anything. As for him, Nicky, well, he's a child of God. He ought just to play with the children or potter in the vegetable garden, not rule the country. That's a little difficult. And so we help him, with God's blessing.
I can tell you, it almost made me physically sick to hear how this peasant horse thief spoke of the Emperor of Russia. To think this man stood so close to the throne at a time of such need. It seemed to me I had no option but to take extreme measures to deliver Russia from this evil man.